I'm Chris Lawrence in Dallas with some of the top stories in North Texas. A teenager is facing murder charges, and police say if not for the officers on scene, it could have been much worse. The deadly shooting happened in North Richland Hills outside the Malibu Jacks indoor theme park. Tiffany Liu just spoke to investigators and has new details on the suspect.
As a family grieves the loss of 21-year-old Deshayla Jones, more details are unfolding about the shooting and the suspect.
We don't believe there's any further threat to the community.
North Richland Hills Police says just after midnight Sunday, Malibu Jacks indoor amusement park was closing for the night.
An altercation apparently had begun between a group of individuals inside the business, and it escalated and went outside at that point.
Police Public Affairs Administrator Carissa Kadikaru says Jones was killed. Another 23-year-old man was shot and is recovering, and she says the suspect is in jail.
The suspect is from Fort Worth.
Ty Kristen Reed.
Reed was located nearby, just outside of North Richland Hills city limits, where he still had what officers believed to be the murder weapon on him.
At 18 years old, he's facing 9 charges, 1 count of murder, 2 counts of aggravated assault against a public servant, 4 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and 2 counts of reckless endangerment of a child.
There was children at the business.
Malibu Jacks is a family-friendly place, but the victim's loved ones also say she has a 4-year-old son. At this point, it is unclear whose children were in harm's way.
I'd have to check and see if those charges are related to the victim's children.
Kadikaru says 2 off-duty North Richland Hills officers were working security inside when they heard the shots.
There is evidence that shows that he was shooting at the officers.
She says the officers ran out, one returning fire while the other applied a tourniquet on the survivor.
The heroic efforts of the 2 NRH off-duty officers undoubtedly prevented further injuries from happening.
The investigation continues to find out why this happened.
There's been no connection made between the suspect and the victims, those injured.
In North Richland Hills, I'm Tiffany Liu.
Fort Worth police are searching for the driver accused of hitting a little boy and driving away. Brittany Costello just spoke with his family, but we should warn you, some of the images in this story may be difficult to see.
These tire markings tell a story. One Kyle Park and Bailey Christensen are desperate to put together.
Right here where it starts to bend.
That's where they think it happened, where it looks like metal caught the concrete.
It just puts a little more fire under my butt to figure out who this was.
Their son, 8-year-old Liam Park, says his vision went fuzzy. He came to, covered in road rash.
It makes me regret going over there that day.
Park says he was riding his bike with friends Friday around 7:45 when a car hit him in the parking lot of his Fort Worth apartment complex, Mercantile Square. His friends and police say it was a black SUV.
And it was blasting music while I was driving.
The driver left him there. That's all he really remembers before his mom found him covered in blood.
I was scared to touch him. I didn't know if anything was hurt inside or on him.
They rushed him to the hospital. Now, thankful most of these injuries are minor. Liam is brave and for the most part, okay.
He wakes up and has night terrors.
But the nights are hard.
And he's flinching and wincing and crying, and he's in obvious pain and shaking throughout the night, and it's heartbreaking because I don't know how to soothe that.
Or his fear that the person who hit him is still out there.
There's no way you're not going to feel a bicycle under your vehicle. A speed bump, you feel a speed bump. You're going to feel a bicycle and a child underneath your vehicle.
They are asking anyone with information to get in touch with Fort Worth police.
Kids have said the driver got out and looked at him and got back in before speeding off.
So this doesn't happen to anyone else. In Fort Worth, I'm Brittany Costello.
Part of a popular farm is reopened after it suffered significant damage during Friday night's storm. High winds hit Preston Trail Farms in Gunner. And owners say the gusts got them to 80 miles an hour and tore through their barn. This is new video from our helicopter as the store reopened to customers Monday morning. The petting farm will remain closed for now as cleanup continues. Police in Palestine need your help right now to find a missing K-9 officer. The town is about 110 miles southeast of Dallas. Hondo is a German Shepherd and was last seen August 4th. He is microchipped but wasn't wearing a collar that day. If you've seen him, give Palestine police a call. They're really concerned about their K-9. The new Universal Kids Resort in Frisco is coming to life. Take a look at these new photos from our partners at the Dallas Business Journal. You can see roller coasters and attractions already taking shape. There will be hotel rooms, restaurants, shops, and rides inspired by Universal's most popular characters. Sean Giggy went looking for the secret to a long and happy marriage, and he may have found it in a couple from North Texas who've been living it for nearly 80 years.
6 weeks before I graduated, the Navy said, "We need you."
98-year-old John Larson has had an honorable life.
I had to look for signals of enemy aircraft coming at us.
A naval radar operator in World War II, John later served as a scoutmaster, one of the most distinguished leaders the organization has ever known.
Yeah, I suppose.
And yet, his greatest honor has always been his forever honor.
We understand each other, I think.
Tuesday is John and Vivian's 75th anniversary.
I did a good job, I think. Picking the right woman, she's it.
John and Vivian met as undergrads at the University of Wisconsin, but John wasn't the only apple of her eye.
I had competition.
Vivian had plenty of suitors.
Wow, big time.
But there was just something about John.
Well, you're cute.
Looking deeper, she saw a future.
And I just thought that this was the person I could do it with.
They married in 1950, and although they say they've never really argued, they always fought for their marriage, their children, and each other.
I think we're lucky.
Overcoming career moves and cross-country moves.
You just kept going. You didn't quit.
Vivian says once they learned to accept their differences.
We were opposites.
And instead focus on their shared ambition.
That's probably why we've worked together.
Their bond deepened in a way that's almost incalculable.
How do you measure love? That's tough.
I just think that we go together. We balance each other.
They say a successful marriage is no mystery. It's hard work and compassion. When you make that kind of commitment, you find that love is rarely the fairy tale we think or imagine, but instead is so much better.
That's the way it works.
In Bedford, I'm Sean Giggy.
And with a track record like that, we could all learn a little something from them. And those are your headlines from North Texas.